Oh, hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for visiting once again. Tally ho! I think we'll get straight into it. We're going to put some stuff together and make this look like an aeroplane rather than just a collection of components. So obviously you'll know where we're up to and so on. From the previous one. I've drilled out, by the way, just as a little knocker for you. You can see a glue mark there, that's got to come off, but I've drilled these out so that I can put clear, what's it called, crystal clear on it, acrylic crystal clear. It's something by one of these well-known manufacturers of this sort of stuff, and I tried it somewhere else and it worked rather well, so I shall paint those three lights the correct colours, red, orange and green, in I hope the right order, and we'll do that. So there we are. Quick word, the count of subscribers seems to have burgeoned once again, and thank you very much to all those of you who have recently decided that my indeterminate meandering streams of consciousness are something you like to listen to. I'm much obliged to you on that one. I'll keep trying to do, well, more or less the same thing over again, until you all tell me to stop. And to those of you who are still with me, whom I've not yet bored to sleep, then thanks very much. Although I do gather that I have the sort of voice that you tend to play to insomniacs who don't respond to strong drugs. But there we go. We'll carry on anyway. So yeah, we'll put the cowlings on and put the engine in and do all that and stick that on there and do all this stuff, and hopefully in sort of 20 minutes or so we should have something put together. So let's get on with it, shall we? This simply slots into a series of pre-prepared slots, so it can't go in the wrong way. So we can just essentially get straight down to fiddling around with gluing it up, and from thence it goes pretty much straight onto the front engine cowling, and we'll just get a reasonably good bond into there. What I did do was removed the primer off the inside of these so that you get a decent bond, and there we go with that. As you can see, that simply slips straight into there like that, and we can with perhaps a little more care just put that in as well. I'll go the other side just for a minute. There we go, and then go from the bottom side up to the top here. And to be quite careful with the glue because there are rivet marks here because of these cowling covers, so that's quite important. And there you go with that. That simply slips straight in there. I think what we'll do, yeah, we need to take some paint off that, just in there. I think what we'll do with that is I'll use a file. I think we'll just pull that. It's a very thin coat of what's it called, zinc chromate yellow primer, so that'll sort that out fairly quickly. And I need to pull the I didn't prepare this earlier. That's not good, is it? So I find using a curved blade for this is somewhat easier. So I'm once you get the angle right, you're pulling surface off reasonably quickly then. And I'll use the white cat glue for this because it's thicker and doesn't bond quite so quickly as well, which is kind of helpful. That should be fine there, and then we can use extra thin in that little area there, and away we shall go. So these caps always do up proper tight, so you have to use both hands to get the damn thing open. Drop that in there like that, and then just, in fact actually I'll use quick setting. And just hold that, because that will tack that whole thing in and keep it, I was slightly off camera there. So tack that whole thing in anyway and keep it where it's supposed to be. So let's have a look, see where we are here. That looks all right. I'm just going to take that down for a second. Should sort that out then, and that won't go anywhere for a while, so I'll need to keep that around, and that as well, so we need to keep all of these around for a minute. Next section that we want to do is the wings, so let's just zero back out again to about that level. That's probably helpful. So you've got a wing stalk there, or root, and the best way of getting this to fit properly is to actually open up this little section here, rather than cut this down, I think. And what you'll find is all this then should, it says here, slip in quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is to line all this up with some white cat glue on this, and then use extra thin quick setting to tack that in there, and then I can look at the underside in a little bit, and that should get us absolutely spot on. So there's the plan. Now this is all hidden, of course, so just gently put that in there like that. Hold that nice and gently there, just in the right area. Because of course it bonds quite quickly, we got that all tacked down. We want a slight gap there because obviously there's a wing fold there, so and some of this is going to be disguised anyway for reasons that are pointed out in the video on the walk round of the Corsair KD431, as you may recall, because of the fact that dope sheets were put over this, so there's going to be some discoloration on this anyway. So let's put that down there for a minute, and we can do the same on the other side. There we go, and that fits in just nicely like that, as you can see. So let's not jog the camera too much, eh? And get that bonded in. Let's put that away back up there for a minute, out of the way. Do good housekeeping as ever. Be careful with this bit. So here we go. I could just, you probably didn't see that, but I could just see the glue wicking across there. So it's gone all the way across that joint there. Oh, that's too much on there. I do believe that this is probably the most critical part. This is the bit you've got to get most right, as it were. If you can have, if that's not subject to degree, it's either right or it's not. But this is the bit where you do have to get it right. So with any luck, the gaps aren't yawning on this side, which is good, which is what we want. So I'm going to leave them to dry for a time, and what we might then do is, after they have dried, is we can then put the flaps on. But what we will do beforehand is we'll drop the undercarriage legs in to get them the right way round. It's not the best idea to get them the wrong way round, so they tend to roll in that way, on that fashion, like that, and then sit in like that. Now, not quite sure what the best way of doing. I didn't really investigate this, apart from, I'm going to get the magnifier out on this. Just bring the magnifier in so that I can see what I'm up to here. So I want to get this bonded in as well as I can. Tell you what we'll do there is we'll get some of this jollop and we'll just drop a little drop of that into there, which I wonder if I can be very, very careful, and I don't really want to do that. I'd rather keep that and put extra thin quick setting in there. So here we go, eyes down, look in, there we go. So a bit of extra thin quick setting in the back of that there. That's gone in, so that's that bit done. So let's just put the light up that way. Do the same thing on other side there, and drop that in there like that. There we go. Magnifier again, so that I can see it. I know you can see it, well, at least I hope that you can. There we go, that's that bit done. Do that up. And lift that back up. So and we can have a look under there. So those gaps aren't huge either side. I have got a bit of a step there, so I'm going to have attend to that. I can just show you that. There, it's quite clear there, it's quite a pronounced step there. I suspect that's because this section here has ridden upwards towards us. I'm going to have to deal with that in one way or another, but that's just another one of the little challenges that we come up against. And once that glue is hardened there, it's actually quite easy to close that wing fold there on that side where there isn't such a step, and this looks much better. Oh, there goes the dog. Let's just zero that out a minute. And what we can see is the wing angles look about right. I'll just look at that outside of the camera. Yeah, they look about perfect. I think they're pretty damn good. Just the angle of the undercarriage there, it does have to be vertical. It can't be off at a pissed angle because it just looked bad. So what we'll do there, I think, is I'm just going to support that for a minute with a little bit of blue tack. We'll let that fall off, shall we? There we go. There we go. Do the same on this side. That's better. So as you can see, I haven't put any of the patterning into the tyres. It's really too difficult at this moment. I may contrive a way of doing it, but I don't think there is an easy way and a way of doing it reliably, which is would mean that the patterning would look a bit gash. I had a go at it with one of these little razor saws, but the lines come out. One is sort of like this and one is like that with respect to it, because they've got to be at an angle like that with a gap between them. And it looks bloody awful if one line is like this, and no matter what you try and do, one is always out by a little bit, and actually making the two parallel like that is on a round surface is near on impossible, which is unfortunate, but you know, there's not a lot we can do about that, I'm afraid. It's just, I fear, one of those things. So we'll just have to manage as best we can. There we are. Now, flaps I'm going to put in all at once, and I think we might be able to get them in today, but we'll see. The doors here I'm not going to put in until I've put that in, which is this, which is the tail wheel, and I'm going to paint this separately and then put it in later, because it's quite important to get that right, I think. It's reasonably well detailed for a 1/48. This here is a towing shackle, and I thought, well, I might try and actually pull out the moulding here so that it looks like a shackle, but it's very tiny and very difficult to do. You possibly could chip it out with a or cut it out with a knife. And I may yet have a go at that, but if you wanted to make that look more detailed, then you could do that. But as you can see, what I've done as well is I've put in the little gap there, so it's slightly less monolithic than it would otherwise be. There we go. So we're moving along, and it's beginning to look like an aeroplane now, which is what we want it to do, of course. I think we should quite quickly get to a point where we'll be putting paint down on this and looking to try and make it look like an old aircraft rather than a not old aircraft. So there we are. We're 20 minutes in. So we had a short but intense period of things to do. I'm going to have to leave this now so that we can let that all dry, and I'll come back to the rest of it at another stage. We'll just another thing just quickly on this so that you know what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put undercarriage jack lines in here. So these are the undercarriage hydraulic jacks, and you can run a little piece of wire out there to the undercarriage door. So you then have an undercarriage jack. So that would be like a chrome silver, because it's, you know, it's a hydraulic line, a hydraulic post. So you can add that little bit of detail in there. So that would be another thing that you could do if you wanted to do, which I'm going to have a little lash at. And those are the sort of things that you know, obviously the kit itself doesn't allow you to do. But there we go. So it's beginning to look like a Corsair now, and there's very few things left to do really in the grand scheme of things. Let's just zero back out again. But it's beginning to look quite good there, I'd say. And you can see it with the wing clip now. That I think looks rather nice. It's got quite an elegant line to it at the wing edges here and so on. So there we go. So I'm just going to lean that back over there. I don't want to rest on those wheels for a long time. Just make sure they're at the right angle before we do that. And I'll leave them to dry, and I'll say thanks very much indeed for your time today, and appreciate your efforts and so on. Let me know if there's anything I've missed in the comments or you think that I should be doing. And again, always pleased to hear from you. Thanks very much for that, everybody. Take care until the next one. Bye for now.